Jesus said, "My true mother gave me the life." That's verse 98 of the Gospel according to Thomas. I am the resurrection and the life, and even though I die, I shall live again. This is the redemption of the human form. The mother gives birth to a daughter, and life goes on and on. Good morning. And I thank National Spiritual Alliance for allowing me to record this sermon, and Linda. Today, I would like to put forth the idea that if God has a gender, she is a female, and never has God been only a man. Much of this material comes from an old book from 1913 by C.H. Jerregard, titled The Great Mother, The Gospel of the Eternally Feminine. Mr. Jerregard was a librarian in the New York Public Library and a free thinker. One reason this grand truth is important is we live in a world run by mostly corrupt men who are ignorant of the divinity of Mother Nature, and they are destroying her and her children without concern for our future generations. Through logic, we know that no man has ever given birth to any living being through his womb. Hence, the term for the female is womb man, and proof to me that God is a woman. To me, it is obvious that the origins of all life is our God, which are nature, holy be her name. She is constantly giving birth unto herself unceasingly. She is the life, and even though she dies, she shall live. She is the resurrection, and that is the gospel of the eternal feminine. Maybe it is Mary who should represent our Creator, and not her Son. It is Mary who brings forth Jesus to save our world. Maybe it's Mary that should represent the eternal salvation. To me, this is the myth of the virgin birth, this eternal diremption where the one becomes the two. Diremption is where there is a splitting off of herself to continue life. The mother creates a daughter, and eventually the mother dies. Then that daughter has a daughter, and then that new mother dies. This is the gospel of the eternally feminine. And our earth is her temple, and yea, earth is her holy temple, and yea, earth is even her own body. God, nature, speaks to us by all her creations, by all her creatures, all symbols of her thoughts. All forms of life, ancient and modern, are the results of her mind. Nature means origin, or the great womb out of which all life come from, as if from themselves. And except for the free will of sentient beings, there is nowhere anything which is not her. She is our creator, our preserver, and our destroyer. And when we think about it, murder, which men are condemned for and imprisoned, nature does daily. And the most criminal act recognized by human law, nature does once to every living being. Life and death go hand in hand. Our God, nature, does not act according to human morals and measures. Let us now consider our great mother God, symbolized by the Sphinx. It has the cruel claws of a lion and the teeming breasts of a woman. She is the eternal parable of nature. She is equally equipped to tear, to rend and destroy, and as well she can give birth to us and nourish us. Her stony gaze can both repel and attract us. Nature is the power of growth and the force of all existence. She develops all organisms after her own patterns. If we look in the ancient text of the Bhagavad Gita, in the 9th discourse we read, "Under me, as supervisor, nature sends forth the moving and the unmoving. Because of this, O Ketunya, the universe revolves." The foolish disregard when clad in human semblance, ignorant of my supreme nature, the great Lord of being. Goethe wrote upon nature in 1894. He said, "We are surrounded by her and unable to step out of her. She creates ever new forms. What was comes not again, all is new." and yet always old. Every one of her works has a being of its own, and yet they all make one. She acts a play on the stage, and she plays it for us, who stand in the corner. There is an eternal living and becoming and moving in her, and yet she proceeds not farther. She is firm, her step is measured, her exceptions rare, her laws unalterable. She loves herself and clings ever, with eyes and hearts without number, to herself. She has divided herself in pieces in order to enjoy herself. Whosoever trustfully follow her, she presses like a child to her heart. Her children are without number. She flings forth all her creatures out of nothing, and tells them not whence they come, nor whither they are going. Life is her finest invention, and death is her device to get more life. She veils man in darkness and spurs him to continually to the light. She hides herself in 1,000 names and terms, and is always the same. Thank you, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Each of us are blessed to be part of this great cosmic scheme, and when we feel fully at home with nature, we feel satisfaction in our souls. Personally, I now comprehend that God was never a man. God is a great mother, and she is nature, not separate from nature. And what we do to her blessed creatures, great and small, we are doing to her. Our God, nature, gives us desires and wants because she loves motion. She sets out every moment for the longest race, where every moment is the goal. Thousands stumble over her and see nothing. Man obeys her laws even when he strives against them. She has no speech or language, but she creates tongues and hearts through which she speaks and feels. Her crown is love, and only through love can one come near her. She has isolated all to draw all together. She is all. She rewards herself and punishes herself, delights and torments herself. She is whole but uncompleted. Our God nature creates and destroys all life forms by her will, and only by eating each other do living beings exist. But as a human being, with free will, if we choose, we can deliberately step out of that destructive pattern by no longer being a meat eater. I believe a vegetarian diet will help mankind transcend the violent desire to kill or go to war. Tolstoy, the Russian, wrote, "As long as there are slaughterhouses, there will always be battlefields." If we look into the kingdoms of nature, the plant kingdom eats from the mineral kingdoms, and the animal kingdom eats from the plant kingdom. And we human beings are members of the animal kingdom and should not eat within our own kingdom. And we can be healthier as vegetarians. Our intestines match fruitarian monkeys, not carnivores. Our great mother is the cause of all life, seen and unseen, and she is the invisible force that when she acts upon matter, mother, she creates consciousness. She is also called the uncreate, the source of all life. Proclus wrote in 465 AD, "It is necessary that the world should be entirely similar to its maker, and from divinity being present in the world is so arranged." Let's reason with Proclus that if divinity was not present in this world, then our world would cease to exist. In 160 AD, the great thinker Marcus Aurelius Antonius wrote about the great Mother God, "All things from thee exist in thee, return to thee. My soul I have never seen, yet I bow in reverence before it. In like manner, every time I experience anything of the power of God, I conclude that from that to God's existence, I bow in reverence." I say thank you, Marcus Aurelius Antonius. In 365 BC, Aristotle called God the prime mover, and in 435 BC, Socrates said, "There is a divinity so great and glorious that at once sees everything, hears everything, is present in everything, and takes care of everything." So, what does any man voluntarily do for themselves in breathing, digestion, secretion, and reflex action? Every organ of our bodies is given to us ready-made. Brain, nerves, thoughts, and sensations, our wills and consciousness, all provided for a human being, ready-made. Why, our bodies are closer to God than we are. Our bodies are closer to God than we are closer to our bodies. The closer we keep to nature, the nearer we get to spiritual understanding. For us, the flowers open their eyes, and the birds sing their morning and evening chorus. All the kingdoms of nature are speaking to us. Attraction is the great law of the universe. It is not subject to change. It knows no variation and admits of no exception. Friends, nature may seem remorseless and exacting, but she is just and stable. Whomever violates her laws is pursued and punished, but whomever obeys her law finds them mighty for their protection and for their comfort. Did we ever stop to think for one moment and consider with what care nature has brought you here? Not a man God, but a mother God. Mother Nature, she is all wise, she makes no mistakes, and life is given to us forever. Life is the only one of all the gifts that nature will never take from us. Humanity at large are ignorant as babes in the light of nature, as to creation and our Creator, which is nature. Do we see all around us every hour nature creating herself out of herself? And every tint and hue of nature is perfect. In place of theology, our children should be taught nature. There is only one God, the God of nature. This God permeates everything, even the grass. This is the God that has absolute dominion over all that exists. Pray, but pray to nature, and let us pray to be good and to do good, and nature will respond. We can only give back to nature by caring for all her creatures. If we wish to reform a man, let's not tell him he is a sinner, but let's show him who and what he is, and he will reform himself. Are we not miracles to ourselves? Is not creation a miracle? Our world is full of beauty if we would only study it. Let us study the clouds some rainy day, and we will see how refreshed everything is after a storm. It is the same in our lives. See, after the storms of adversity have passed over us, our spirits will be made stronger for the next trial. Let's take the keys that nature offers us and unlock her beautiful storehouse. Can we understand what true happiness is? It consists of making others happy. Our society is such that it makes men selfish. One secret of life is, in order to lighten our burden, we must lighten the load for others. In other words, when we live for the life of all, we will find life worth living. This very short poem, I feel, can join us to the mystical and invisible personality of our Creator. Close your eyes if you want to. I will read it 2 times. It's short. A bird flew across my path in the woods, and I prayed. Come to my embrace, kiss my mouth, and leave your yearning upon my lips. The bird answered, my soul is the song in your breast. Myself you do not catch. Repeat. A bird flew across my path in the woods, and I prayed, come to my embrace, kiss my mouth, and leave your yearning upon my lips. The bird answered, my soul is the song in your breast. Myself you do not catch. In conclusion, please allow me to proclaim that God nature is our Creator, and by observing her divine creatures and her divine creations, we see through our logic the eternally feminine through diremption, is our only true God.